word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Our Take is our web show. Say hi. What's your number one program that you want to take care of?
First thing we got to do, we got to get the economy back on track. Inflation under control. We can't be having $4 gasoline. We can't be having groceries unaffordable. We got to get the economy working for all Montanans again.
UFC CEO Dana White, 45, soon to be 47, President-elect Donald Trump.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance.
Also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo.
About that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Just Our Take episode number 100. And that was our brand new intro video. 100 episodes. Can you believe it, Dave?
No, I can't believe it. And I can't believe it. Every time you say it, even when you're doing the countdown or count up. Yeah, it's surreal.
Well, we're glad that you're here. We're glad that we're both still here together. And our first ever seating in guest is Elle. We've had some guests online, but Elle, we're glad you're here with us to celebrate the evening.
Hey, John. Hey, David. It's a pleasure to be here and looking forward to today. Wow. Congratulations to you both. It's been an honor to be a guest speaker, and I cannot wait for today's show.
It's been a long road. It has been a long road. We are going to talk a little bit about the news. Hey, thanks, Roger. We appreciate you. Put that one up. Thank you, Roger.
John,
appreciate you very much. Yes, sir.
Hey, John, I'm using the background from the first episode. I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, if you had waited just a second, we could have shown everybody that. But
I just wanted to. I just want you to see, like, in memory of our first high quality, high production, clearly professional. Not that we're professional now.
Well,
certainly.
I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing then.
And you still haven't washed it. Come on,
Dave. Why are you being so nice to me tonight? Listen, I just want to take a trip back to episode number 1. Not the very first test episode that we did, but episode number 1, which was on February 4th of 2024. We were a well-oiled, polished machine. Let me tell you, we had things down so pat. I'm just going to say nobody could have ever imagined we'd make it this far. You ready?
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Yeah, it must be my
This is
good.
luck shirt. Yeah.
Thank you, producer.
I have
Marie.
one of those too, by the way, just for the record. I have a good luck shirt too. This is mine.
Awesome. Okay, so let's take a trip in the Wayback Machine and go back to episode number 1, where we were so polished, so clean, and well, let's just let the video play for itself.
So good.
And we are live. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, John. How are you? How is Montana? How's life on the prairie?
Montana is beautiful. We're actually not on the prairie. We're in the valley.
In the
But you knew
valley,
that.
on the prairie. I know, I did know that.
So, yeah, I think we should probably, I don't know, start by introducing ourselves, talking a little bit about who we are and what we do. I'll start. How's that? My name is John. This is Just Our Take. The idea behind our show is that we've got a whole lot of opinions, got a whole lot of ideas, and we're not necessarily right. It's just our take. It's just our opinion. We're going to cover a lot of things: news, entertainment, the latest and greatest. Conspiracy theories, we're great at those, and all the like. Dave and I have known each other for over 30 years. Can you imagine that, Dave? It's been over
I'm almost 30 years old, so
It's been over 30 years that we've known each other, and we go to the way back machine. Over the years, Dave and I have shared lots of opinions, and we've disagreed on lots of things. We famously had a few blowouts over the years, some of them around the Second Amendment, some of them around conspiracies. And
I'm sorry. I wanted to wait until you got to your part, David. I just can't take anymore. We were really bad.
That was horrible. I'm not saying we're great today, but that was really bad.
I have to tell you, I'm really happy that Mrs. John allowed me to move my studio out of the bathroom, because that echo was horrible.
Well, yeah, I would say there's a few upgrades, and I'm grateful to my wife as well that she put up with me saying, John and I are going to do it again. Was it good? I don't think so, but we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Trust me, if we do it a few more times. Thank you. Nice new, what's old is new. We're going to do it a few more times, and eventually we're going to get one right.
I like that.
By the way,
glad you are still here.
Yeah.
After an intro like that, I'm surprised that Rumble didn't kick us off the first night.
Right. Hey, we checked and the ratings were so bad. You guys went negative. People left the platform. You got to go.
Yeah, no, we weren't really in the bathroom, but let's just say that our studio equipment has had several upgrades along the way, including lighting, microphones, sound systems, you name it. We've upgraded a little bit.
Well, John's upgraded more. At some point, you'll stop seeing a fake background, and I'll have something more fun like what John has. But John, do you remember when I chose this background?
Yes.
I was convinced that the United States of America was done, and the Republic of America, the Socialist Republic of America, had been born. And I was just trying to find a new flag, something that the cabal would raise up. But thank goodness we are back in control, and that time has passed. But I did want to bring this back just for tonight.
It's awesome. Love it. Well, we do have an exciting show tonight, and exciting for us, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. We're going to bring back several of our previous guests. Obviously, we already have Elle here, and we're glad that you're here to celebrate this with us. But we're going to start off with our friend Mike, who was actually our first ever guest, and he came in on episode number 4. He'll be on in just a few minutes. Then neighbor Mike, That's what I call him. Neighbor Mike has been on several times. He is a recurring guest. He calls in, and he's also the one that sent us that amazing video of the SpaceX launch. So that was pretty cool. And then we're also going to have producer Marie. She's going to come on for a bit. Glad that you're here, producer Marie. Don't chicken out. And Mrs. John's going to come on for just a spell as well. So lots of fun. We're also going to take a decode of episode of our first our first intro video. Thank you. A decode, just so you know exactly what's going into it when we do these things. Let me see if I can't bring that up now. Nope, that must not be the one, huh? That's not the one.
That's not the one.
That's not the one.
That's not
Good
it.
thing that wasn't the one.
While you're bringing it up, I will say, John, I sincerely appreciate the time and effort and critical thinking that you put into the intros. They're not just random pictures set to music, but there's a theme to it. There's some thought to it. And I appreciate that you put the time and effort into doing that.
Well, I want to go through and show. Thank you. I appreciate that, David. Tonight's new intro had a lot of new Easter eggs in it. And I hope that by showing you the Easter eggs in the previous one, you'll kind of go back and watch the other intros with a different eye. So let's see. That's just me launching my drone on Newport Beach, California. You know that, right? Red pill, blue pill. Take the red pill, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you wake up tomorrow and nothing's ever changed. But if you take the red pill,
you have an awakening and you see everything more clearly. More people are being red pilled now than ever before, which is great. And by the way, thanks, Rude's girl. Appreciate that. She's mocking us, saying that apparently we haven't improved. That's okay. It's okay.
We have thick skin. We can handle it.
That was a riot that I was at. I took pictures of, and
peaceful protest.
If you look right in between the two cops, there's a guy with a mostly peaceful protest. There's a guy with a ski mask on, but it was mostly peaceful.
No fires.
No. Portland, I like the decoration that they did.
On any given night.
Sorry, I'm going to stop that because there's a few clips from Portland here. David and I watched a lot of these clips live as they were happening. We were both watching them and talking to each other on the phone, going, "Can you believe that?" And we were watching them on an old app that has since gone away called
Periscope. I loved that app.
Periscope.
Bring it back.
I know, it was pretty cool. Okay, so here's some more of those clips. So not unruly, but Fires Haven't Set. This one was one that David insisted we put in here. And it's a good call because I mean, this just shows the hypocrisy of the media.
This right here, you couldn't have asked for a better, a better organic clip from a reporter in front of a scene which is clearly out of control. And if you think about that summer, the number of scenes like this across the country, in Minneapolis, right? We all that famously now, Walls' wife smelling that burning rubber and just, feeling so elated. Like this happened all over the country. And the news made it sound like they're just protesting for their rights. No, they're burning the cities down.
Yeah. And this was over George Floyd, and they called this the Summer of Love.
Fires have been started.
This is the entrance to Club 33 at Disneyland, a very exclusive club at Disneyland. the 33 is a number of, it's obviously the highest level of Masons, and it's also a symbol of the cabal. So that's why I threw that one in there. If you look closely, there's a sniper up on the roof there, and that sniper was there for oversight protection for a fallen police officer. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah, I actually had somebody that I went to high school with that actually worked at that club, and she got to meet a lot of just a lot of Hollywood stars, Michael Jackson, and all these folks that they wanted to go to Disneyland, but they didn't want to mingle with the crowd. That's where
Mrs. John and I have been in Club 33 a few times. I had a friend that I still have a friend that is a member. It's very expensive to get in. The waiting list is ridiculous. And it was the only place on the Disneyland side where you could get alcohol. So,
yeah, she was a waitress.
Sorry,
no, that's okay. Yeah, and she was a waitress. We went to high school together, and 19 years old. She goes, "You won't believe where I got a job at Disneyland," and I'm like, "What are you talking about, Club 33?" She goes, "Yeah, there's it." So she gave me the whole lowdown of it because it's not publicized, right? It's very elite.
The entrance is hidden. So, okay, let's get back to this. Obviously, there's Kamala Harris there with Montel Williams. Montel Williams has obviously been at a lot of the Diddy parties. He's also closely associated with the Diddy parties. Previous picture, obviously, was Diddy. Were you going to say something, Dave?
The association. Oops. That's right. That's my friend.
And Walt was not a Freemason, according to this. And here we are over, these are Dem senators over there signing bombs in Ukraine, because, of course, that's what you do, right? You sign the bombs. Three members of the cabal, according to me. I may or may not have been inferring that those three members of the Skull and Bone Society might have had something to do with this. I may or may not have been inferring.
May or may not have. We're not really sure.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by so you know the thing.
I just had to put that one in there because he refused to say God, and none of the Democrats could say God or any kind of praise whatsoever at that time. So. If you've been around for a while, you know that David and I went to the Trump rally in Bozeman. That was a wonderful trip. Met some amazing people, and we actually met and talked with future senator at that time, Sheehy from Montana.
Yeah, which was awesome. Fun. What an honor.
Yeah, it really was.
Walked in this place and said, wow, this is a huge dome. Bozeman's got it all right.
That was fun. That was fun.
That really was fun. We're going to talk more about this person here on screen. That's Patty. We're going to talk more about Patty in just a few minutes. So if you don't get the reference, that was the HARP antenna array up in Alaska. And then this is what I believe was the result of HARP turned up to 11, was the ridiculous aurora or northern lights that we saw in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so this is one that's always bothered me, and we've talked about this a lot. We just wonder to ourselves, how on earth the camera tilts up, pans up as the lunar module is separating and going back up to the mothership. They did not have the batteries that could have controlled the remote control. They did not have a remote control camera system back then. They did not have radios that were strong enough to make that happen. This has always been one of those things that we're just not going to believe, but I wanted to put it in here. What else?
Sorry, I saw a documentary on this, and I don't know
Okay,
if you're.
wait, no. We're gonna use that in an upcoming show. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I just
Sorry.
didn't want to, but this is why this is in here, because there's a lot of things that have happened that we've always just taken for truth, that now we have to go back with a skeptical eye and say, wait a second, you can still believe it, and a lot of people do. I just question how this camera follows this.
I got a comment.
2, 1.
Go. Stage 2.
Go.
Flight directors, go for launch.
All right. So then obviously the SpaceX launch is just because we have a fondness for Elon Musk, so much so that my wife got really frustrated with me that we did almost a 30-minute segment just on Elon. Anyway, that is a decode. There's a lot more and a lot better Easter eggs that come in the videos since then. So yeah, who is the guy running the camera? They left him behind, right?
They say no man left behind. Those were not Marines.
Can I comment on that? Or no?
On what?
On that video.
The whole thing? Sure.
Yeah. No. On the launch that you're saying about the camera.
Oh, no, okay. I just don't want it to take away thunder from our upcoming show, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I recently saw a documentary on YouTube. The scientist is a really good guy, and he looked at a lot of the film. I don't know if you know, they have over 30,000 hours worth of film. That was not the original launch back. That was actually, I think, like the 4th trip. They have camera footage of the previous landers and how the camera missed it, and on the 4th one they finally timed it. So there's footage of that looking really bad. You see the thing go and the camera is delayed like 30 seconds, and then the camera is too quick.
Again, I question our ability to have a radio that can transmit that much data from the surface to the moon, even to the orbiter, and no one went back and grabbed the film. You got to remember, in that time frame, did you see the size of the cameras on set in a news frame? We'll talk about this when that episode comes out. I don't believe it happened. I've seen too much evidence that shows that it didn't happen. And Stanley Kubrick, is that the guy that did all of the work on the
we got to do a show, because I'm in the other.
Good.
I used to think that
awesome.
way, but this guy proved me wrong. His scientist proved me wrong, and he
didn't
had
prove
a lot
you
of
wrong.
good footage.
He didn't prove you wrong. He convinced you, which is different, because no one.
You can't hear that, but the thunder is arriving.
We
can hear it, David.
That was pretty loud.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest in. Just have to get him on the telly here. And Mike, just so you know, if you're listening, you are going to come in hot. So don't answer the phone in a way that you don't want the rest of the world to hear. If that makes sense, Mike. And of course, we're just calling him Officer Mike.
Hello.
What's happening, friend of the show, Mike?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Did you get to see the first part of the show?
No, I was talking with my mom.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're doing our 100th episode tonight, and we thought, man, what a great time to have you back on. You were actually on our 4th episode.
Okay.
4th ever episode. And like I said, tonight's 100th episode. I think we talked a little bit about the state of law enforcement in general the last time you were on. Is that right?
I think so.
So, what's the state of law enforcement today?
Well, I guess it depends on obviously what law enforcement agency you work for. I would say, with the incoming administration, or not the incoming, but the current one now, the outlook is probably a little brighter. I know in some counties in California, they've gotten rid of the district attorneys that were, funded by George Soros and who were pretty much pro-crime. I would venture to say, or at least not filing charges on a lot of stuff. I know LA County did that. They got rid of George Gascon, and they have a new guy in and immediately made changes. And matter of fact, I just saw something today or yesterday, I think, that and it's still going to be rare instances, but there are going to be certain homicide, crimes that are going to be death penalty eligible.
Oh, wow.
And if you know anything about California, that's very rare.
It's a big change.
That is a big change.
We do have a question from the audience. We're high tech. We're high tech here now.
All right.
Rude's Girl wants to know, Mike, how do you feel about Chad Bianco running for California governor?
You know what? I know what I know about him is, just the stuff that I kind of see, on social media and stuff. I don't work for Riverside County. I will say, though, what I've seen, he is the type of guy that you absolutely want to work for. He's very, obviously pro law enforcement, but he is very supportive of the officers in his agency, and he goes to bat for them, and I'm not really too familiar about, what his other policies are, other than, definitely pro let's lock up criminals. And, being in law enforcement, I am always down for that.
Yeah. Well, and he's not Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, that's true.
Dave, do you have any questions? Dave, do you have any questions for Mike?
No, I'm thank Mike. Really good for you to come back and join us for a couple minutes. Appreciate hearing your perspective about how law enforcement is feeling in the new administration. It's 4 years now. We hope it's a legacy, but it is. Trump's in office for 4 years, and there's a lot of money on the other side. The cabal still got a lot of cash. Any concerns that these are going to be short-lived changes?
Well, of course, there's always that concern, with any politician, political party, promises are always made, and, very rarely they're kept. I will say for President Trump, he made a lot of promises, and, I don't know if I curse on the air, but he's not fucking around. And he doesn't give a damn what people think. He thinks this is the right course, and he's going through with it. Now, obviously, there's a lot of barricades, and stuff being put up on him right now. But he doesn't care. He's like, this is what I'm going to do. And if they take him to court, he's going to fight it. And I think anyone would agree that that's the kind of person you want, running, the country, your city, your state, whatever it is. You do what's best for the people, and whatever it is. And you got a lot of politicians nowadays that they're taking money from certain groups or whatever, and they backstep. They just forget about the things they said prior, and then it kind of just disappears. People have very, very short memory when it comes to things. And but as far as law enforcement, yeah, it's always a big thing. I know, for example, the city of LA, they're running supposedly about $1 billion deficit for this next fiscal year.
Wow.
And they're talking about, layoffs and hiring freezes and, furloughs for certain employees in the city and stuff like that. And from what I know, they're already, LAPD, for example, is already short. Like I'm just going to ballpark it, but I would say 1,000 to 1,500 officers from what they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, they have a certain, I think their levels, like they have their thing for 10,000 officers and they only have 8,200, something like that. So, and I was thinking about it. I was like, just the way the city has been run over the years and the state in general, obviously, because, Newsom's been there for 6 and before him was Jerry Brown and he didn't do much of anything either. But, you got, LA's got the Olympics coming up in 3 years. It's got the World Cup next year. Good luck in policing the city with all of these events coming up. And, they're asking, I guarantee it, they're going to ask for more taxes, like Democrats usually do, when they squander the money that they've been given on whatever it is. They're like, oh, we'll just go to the people and, we'll get more money. We'll take more money from them, Yeah.
Or come to the government and say, can we get a $40 billion bailout? We had some fires over here. Meanwhile, we're going to spend, I know we said 2 billion, but I meant 12 billion, providing some services to people that that just came across the border. And we hope that you're okay with that, but can we get a $40 billion handout? On the,
well, it's not only the people that have come here from wherever they came from, but even the homeless here. In LA County, I want to say they spent 24 billion for these NGOs and these homeless outreach organizations, so to speak, and they don't even know where the money went. And the homeless issue in LA City and LA County is worse than it's ever been. You think about, what you could have done with $24 million. There's, I don't even know how many homeless vets, people that, that serve the country that, I would say a majority of people would agree that they deserve, if there's anyone who deserves a handout, it's those people, the homeless population in general, a lot of it's mental illness, most of it's drug addiction. They did that to themselves. And I don't mean to sound callous, but at the same time, they're, you try to offer help and they're not taking it.
Hey, Mike. Mike, I just want to jump in real quick. There's 2 really important comments that I need to share with you. Actually, 3 now. One, Roger he's a vet as well. He said understaffed and overextended, and obviously you just verified all of that yourself. But then Roger also came back and said nothing but admiration for you and all peace officers, Mike. So Roger's a fan. Also, we have a guest on our show on live on camera, and his name's Elio, and Elio is a Marine. He was in I think that they used muskets back in the time that he was. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But then I agree with you on the assessment about the vets and the homeless vets and what have you. One thing I do want to say, because there's a lot of questions coming up, Mike, you got to come back on the show and do a full segment. Okay. I really want to have you, and let's get together. We'll talk. We'll have. I know that you plan on making a trip up to God's country here before too long, but before then, let's do another phone call where you can actually give us, a full segment or so, and dig into some of the questions that our audience has, because I'm telling you, they're already asking some questions. So that's pretty cool.
No, absolutely. I would actually love to do it today. I just, I'm out visiting my parents. I'm on vacation, visiting my parents. So I told them, hey, I got to step aside for about 10, 15 minutes, guys. And my dad's cooking up some stuff for dinner tomorrow. So he's
Nice.
he's going crazy. I mean, definitely when I come, definitely well fed when I come here because he loves to cook.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for everything you do, Mike. Thanks for coming on board and helping us to celebrate our 100th episode.
Of course.
So thank you.
Congratulations, you guys. And yeah, let me know, and I'll come on anytime.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Be
All right,
safe.
talk to you later. All right, thank you.
I'm telling you, what a great guy. Marie, I'm sorry, but he does talk quite a bit. I mean, good stuff. Not on me. That came out wrong. That came out wrong. He does, and he gives lots of great detail. That question that you have, write that one down, because that's going to be the lead-in question that we have when we have him back on the show. And I know that he would be glad to come back on for a full segment, maybe even the whole show, because I'm sure that we could fit him into a lot of the stories that are going on in the news today. But he's a great guy, and I'm fortunate to call him my friend, and he's going to be able to come up and spend some time with us this summer. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So what do you think? I got a couple. I do have to tease this one, Dave.
What's that?
You guys don't want to go anywhere, because our very first attempt at a show
It's so bad.
from back in 2020 is going to come up here soon. So we got Mike, my neighbor, coming up next. But beforehand, I'm going to call him up, and he's going to listen as we. I hope he's watching right now. Mike, are you watching? He's going to listen to it as we watch his description of the SpaceX launch, and then we'll have a chance to talk to Mike real quick. Well, not real quick. I think it's just going to be good. Let's get him on the line.
Hey, John, how you doing, buddy?
Neighbor Mike, how are you, sir? Welcome to
What's
Just
going
Start.
on, pal? What
Are
is
you
going
watching?
on?
Are you watching the show by chance?
I'm just sitting in the car right now. We just came out of a restaurant. So,
Oh no, well,
yeah,
I
that's
guess it was-
okay.
guess it was
No
good
problem.
timing
I just
then.
got your link and I saw it, so I'm good. We're cool. We're good. Don't worry about it.
All right, so I'm going to play the video that you sent me real quick, so everybody at home can see. Mike was a longtime neighbor of mine when I lived in another part of the country, and Mike and I, every morning we would come outside, we would have our coffee, stand outside and solve the world's problems.
And save the world.
We would, and it hasn't changed much, although the distance is not the same. We do talk at least several times a week.
Oh yeah.
So Mike's a good friend, and I called him up a while back and said, or I texted him, "Hey, SpaceX launch in 2 minutes." Nothing like a lot of advance notice. And a few minutes later, this is what he sent me.
Check
Right
that
now
out.
on
There's
screen.
the rocket.
It was so cool
Holy
to watch that.
cow. Look at that.
It was fantastic.
Look at that beautiful rocket.
You went viral, by the way. I think I saw this posted and reposted so many times.
It was great. I loved it. I watched each separation from my backyard, and it was a clear night. And I mean, and you could see the fan coming out from each rocket as they're separating. I thought it was just the greatest thing going. I thought it was fantastic.
So the video is great. The commentary is even better.
Yeah.
Well, people say I have a voice for that, so I'll let that roll.
Well, you did have a radio
Isn't
show.
that magnificent?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you did have a radio show.
I did. Yeah, many moons ago, I used to be on KCAA 1070 AM.
Beautiful rocket.
And, I had a lot of fun. My show lasted for an hour. It was called The Garden Hour with Mike Ventura. And it was a lot of fun. I had a ball.
Wow.
Although, I'll tell you a little funny story. And John, you know this. I'm kind of a pretty upbeat guy. Even though I'm a bit of an old dog, I'm still an upbeat guy. And John knows me. I mean, I run on 18 cylinders all day long. So anyways, I never have a frappe. And so for some oddball reason, one morning I grab a frappe and I'm going in, and I've been sipping away at it, going in. The radio station's in San Bernardino in the old Carousel Mall. And I walk in and the engineer's there, goes, "Morning, Mike, how you doing?" And I goes like, "I'm fine." I said, "Okay." And I had all my notes, just in case I didn't get too many calls. I would always keep a whole bunch of notes for that day's program. And I'm sipping on the frappe throughout the program, and I'm blowing through the program. And the engineer stares at me and he gives me the timeout sign. And he goes, we need to go to a commercial like right now. And I said, okay. So he comes into me and he said, you mind if I ask what you're drinking? I said, it's a frappe. And he said, do you have any idea how much caffeine is in that you're drinking right now? I said, well, I think my heart's going to blow out of my chest cavity, so that would indicate a lot. And then right around, my show went from 12 to 1. And right around 12:30, it went from a 128 to a 45. And then he looked at me and goes, oh, Christ, he's crashing on the air. And I said, oh, my God, the caffeine's running out of gas. And I had carried the show for 31 minutes. And I'm looking at him, and the show was live video. I wanted people to relate to me, and they related really well. And so I got through, and he says, promise me, Mike, you're never going to drink another frappe again. Oh, you got that? You got that down. I'm never doing this again. Now with a frappe. I mean, I'm on live video. And but that was the one and last time I've had a frappe, because I know it does. Yeah.
So Mike and his son actually went down to the Trump rally in Coachella, California.
Yeah.
And he came on and talked to us about that afterwards, and that was always fun. What was your, we're a few months away from it now. Looking back on it, what's your biggest takeaway from that event?
The amount of patriotism that was with all the audience. There was about, I'm guessing, at least 40 to 50,000 people there, and it was incredible. I've never seen such a patriotic atmosphere, and I mean, there was people from all different walks of life there, and there's so much American pride and USA pride going on, and it was great. We got there early in the morning, and we were there the entire day up until almost 11 o'clock at night. But it was so much energy for the patriotism at that rally, and people just enjoyed being there, and it was just great. It was a terrific experience. And if anybody ever says that after you've been to a Trump rally, you don't feel energized about this country, there's something seriously wrong with you.
I would agree with.
I'm telling you right now, that was so patriotic, and that is why right now when I look and see. And I'm going to say how the left, the Democrats, are trying to paint this picture. I'm saying to myself, you people are just crazy. You don't realize how much better off we are now as compared to when and John, you know the name I give for Biden.
Yep.
And,
can you share that? Is that not shareable on air?
Am I allowed to share it, John?
Oh, go ahead.
Dementia Boy. I call him Dementia Boy.
That's pretty accurate.
Mike, you hang on for just a second. Mike had, and this is one of my favorite things when I would talk to him. We're both sipping a cup of coffee in the morning when we talk to each other. He has a nickname for everybody. So what was Kamala?
Oh, Kamala was Word Salad Queen.
Word Salad
Queen.
Word
Salad Queen. And then there was, I can't sit in the name I used for Polly, her husband, because I'd probably get in trouble.
You just called him Hammer Time. Go ahead.
Hammer Time. Yeah, Hammer Time. Yeah.
And Mr. Buttigieg?
Mr. Butt-loving Buttigieg. Yeah, that was him. And,
terrible.
I would tell John these things, and he would just start cracking up because how do you come up with these? Just give me a couple minutes, I come up with a name for every one of them.
He's just flying through them, man.
And I just went after another. And this is what frustrates me. In fact, you know what I don't understand? What is Pelosi even doing in Washington? She is not even an elected official. She's an emerita, for God's sake. What is she? And she looks like her face is being yanked because she says so many faceless. I said to myself, what are you even there for? And why are you people even paying attention to her? I mean, what's the point?
Okay, let me bring it back to local politics for you for just a second. I just had my friend Mike on. He's a law enforcement officer. Now I have my friend Mike on, who is a master gardener and a arborist. I have to ask you a question. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Chad Bianco running for governor?
Which one are you talking to? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, he's the sheriff of Riverside County right now.
I think that'd be. I think that would be great. We need to bring this country back into line. We need to bring the state back into line again. This state's so screwed up; it's not even funny.
I just heard a report that a recent survey said that over 50%, I think 50.2% of Californians said that they would vote for a Republican in the next governor race.
Oh, this state has gone so far left and so whacked out because Newsom has just dropped the ball completely. on Californians. Absolutely dropped the ball. And, in fact, I saw the other day that the city of Los Angeles, I think, if I'm right, has $1 billion in debt for 2025. They're a deficit of $1 billion. They haven't got the money. And ironically, I think I was talking to you about it, that California drove businesses out. Toyota left. I think I think Chevron pulled out. These are big tax bases. And a lot of big tax money left the state of California.
Yep, that's for sure.
And I'm saying to myself, okay, so not only are you not bringing in taxable revenue, but small businesses that would normally want to do business here are leaving because of the fact you've got the restrictions and regulations so cranked up so bad, they can't make a living because of the fact you're making it too damn expensive. And then a lot of the people are being paid under the table, so they're not contributing to the tax base. And I'm saying to myself, you're wondering why you're $1 billion in the hole?
Yeah.
In debt? I mean, you're not doing anything to bring business in. And this is what amazes me. I used to be a small business operator. And so I remember all the restrictions that I had. I used to have a pest control business. And I had regulations up the wazoo.
Yikes.
And
Mike, you said you were a small business operator. What do you go, like 6'5"? Is that what you're?
I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3".
Looks like 6'5".
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, we're going to cut this just a little short. We have 2 more guests we got to get to and everything else.
No problem.
I want to have you back again because honestly, we could just talk all night. And
I love being on your program. I absolutely love it.
You're a professional. What's the name of if you would go ahead and give yourself a shameless plug for your YouTube video or YouTube.
Oh, my
show.
YouTube. It's called The Garden Time with Mike Ventura. And I've got, welcome to check it out. There's 45 videos up right now. And I probably picked John's brain. I don't know how many times I had to do this. And so now it's more of a learning garden, but it's called The Garden Channel with Mike Ventura.
There you go. And that's on YouTube.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Dave, you had a question for him?
I was just gonna say. Plus, I want to hear the rest of the nicknames that he's got. So we need to have him back because I feel like there's a long list.
There is.
Plus, Mike, after you've watched a couple of your government podcasts on somebody else's show, then we got to get your thoughts on Newsom's podcast as well. So I'm sure you'll have 1 or 2 things to say about that.
I would love to sit down and just unravel with him and say to myself, well, you can thank yourself for why the state's in the shape it's in right now. So take a look in the mirror and you'll realize why people are bailing out of the state of California at an alarming rate. But hey, it's called honesty.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our friend Mike. Mike, thanks so much for being a friend of the show. Thanks for helping us celebrate our 100th
Anytime. I think you
episode.
guys are the best. It's always my pleasure to be as a guest on your program.
You're the best. We'll see you soon, Mike. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night.
And that was Mike.
So good. Yeah.
Honestly, he's a bundle of energy. Love talking to him. We do. He'll call me randomly on I don't know. He used to work at a Lowe's, and that was his retirement gig. And he just didn't really, I won't say he didn't care because that's probably the wrong way to put it. But he actually told me one time, he had a customer come in and said, do you have any plants? He worked in the plant department, obviously, right? In the lawn and garden. Do you have any plants that give off oxygen?
Well, explain how this whole thing works.
That's exactly what he did. That's what he did.
Oh my God.
He was just this side of irreverent. He's the best anyway. So that's my friend, neighbor, Mike. Before we get to, no, I'm going to wait. What do you say we get a hold of Mrs. John?
Let's have Mrs. John on.
Let's have Mrs. John on, and she can give us an update. Mrs. John, I hope she's probably watching. I hope she is, because she's hearing it on a 3-second delay.
Can you hear thunder? No.
The audio, by the way, is fantastic. The callers.
She's probably watching.
Mrs. John, are you there?
I am.
Hi, Mrs. John. Welcome to Just Our Take, episode number 100.
Hello. Congrats, guys.
Thank you. We're glad that you let us continue to do this for you and Mrs. David.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a relief that we don't have to put up with you 2 nights a week, and other times it's it's discouraging. Like, what? We can't go out with our friends tonight because you have a show?
We're famous. You did you watch the beginning? Did you watch the beginning show?
I did.
And so you saw just how bad we were in the beginning?
I knew how bad you were.
That's why it's like, wait, you're gonna do another one? What's wrong with you?
Okay. I just want to, for those of you that may or may not remember, Mrs. John came on as our resident. My phone, I'm sorry, it's picking up that noise. Yeah, it's a little bit better. She's our resident medical expert, and she came on and talked to us about fetal development, which we had a lot of people that were just really near tears because it's such a beautiful way that you explained all that. So that was really a cool show. I enjoyed the heck out of that. And I've heard this, parts of that before. And again, we had audience members that were saying, wow, that was really something special. So thank you for that one. And then you came back and talked to us about birth tourism. And gave us a great in-depth, analysis and study on, what is birth tourism, how is it happening, and how has it impacted, the nurses and the medical services themselves. So we appreciate both of those. I kind of want to ask you just the state of, I know you're in a specialized practice, but the state of, the hospital in your area of work. What's going on? What's new? What's different? What are you seeing the most of? That kind of stuff.
Unfortunately, right now it's pretty status quo, which is not a bad thing. Haven't seen a lot of drug babies. Not seeing a lot of anything. I think our biggest issue right now is, as nurses, we're fighting to get decent medical care in our area. So. We're really, we're being told because we're so rural that it's hard for us to, keep doctors. It's hard for us to have specialists. So we are definitely in an area where our population is very underserved.
Okay. So is it, I think that you've shared with me that some of it is just not good prenatal care. Is that what you would say?
No, I think, Montana being the state that it is kind of a live and let live. So you've got a lot of people that definitely want to do the more natural type of births. They take care of themselves at home. They maybe see a midwife. There's a huge movement towards what they call free birth, where you live in a trailer out in the backcountry off grid, and that's where you have your babies. Now, I do question if it's a movement or if it's because we happen to be in a state where insurance is a little bit harder to obtain. Affordable insurance is harder to obtain.
Yeah.
There's fewer facilities available. A lot of believe it or not, what I just found out, because I feel like we're rural, but we're not that rural. Our local hospital is considered a critical access medical center. And a critical access medical center is basically a place that you would go, get stabilized, and be transferred someplace else for a higher level of care if you needed it. Which means that they basically can take care of very minimal community issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which obviously is very important.
Yeah, well, like their labor and delivery, there is one nurse by herself.
Wow.
That if you come in labor, that is going to be your nurse that takes care of you. She has no backup. She has no help. So if a true emergency were to happen, the outcome could be detrimental to you, to your child, to your future.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot about Montana medical care.
So the people that want to have their children off grid, is it a poverty thing? Is it a lifestyle? Is it a religious thing? I'm just curious if there's more to that.
I think that we're kind of, I think it runs the whole spectrum of those things. I think some people just don't have the money. Some people don't have the education to know that prenatal care, even if you want to have a home birth, so be it. But you still need to see somebody. You need to see, a skilled practitioner, whether it be a midwife or a nurse practitioner or a doctor that can give you, you can do labs and you can have at least one ultrasound to check anatomy so that, we never know for sure what's going to happen, but sometimes we can see anomalies on anatomy scans and at least have you set up to be in the right place to get the best care for the mother and the baby.
So I've got another question here for you. Just your personal opinion. There was a fad going along for a long time, and I've seen it kind of start to come back a little bit. The water births. How do you feel about those?
Oh yeah.
Hate them.
And why?
Because the lungs are created to inhale air, not water.
So
So
you're talking about once the baby is out of the amniotic fluid, then its job is to inhale air, not water, and it could inhale water, and then you're dealing with okay.
Yes, then you have like an aspiration situation, respiratory issues. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of water births. I'm not a big fan of home births. I just because of my career, I've seen too many things happen. You can have a wonderful, uncomplicated pregnancy. Everything can look good on all of your tests and your scans, and you gain the right amount of weight, and baby looks great, and baby's been doing all its fetal kicks and heartbeat's great. And then at the time of delivery, something can happen. There can be cord compression. There can be you can have an abruption where mom can bleed, and all these things can happen at the time of delivery. And wouldn't you want to have healthcare providers and be in a place where you can get the best care for you and your child as soon as possible for the best possible outcome?
Yeah.
See, I told you she's a trained professional. Okay,
I know. She's good.
Not for tonight, but I do want to have you back on the show. I know the way you will operate, and you will do some research on this one. So you're going to have to let me know how much time you really need to do the research on. But Elle sent me an article today, and it just I'm like, I can't tackle this by reading an article, because you've taught me enough to know that top line evidence is not necessarily the bottom line when it comes to medical stuff. So here's the headline. You ready for the headline?
Sure.
They're not finding autistic children in the Amish communities, and the Amish are not into vaccines at all.
Okay, that'd be interesting. I could do some research on that.
Awesome. So you'll commit to coming back on the show and kind of talking.
I will, and I
us.
could already tell you, my mind's starting to think that they probably live off the land and they don't have to deal with all the artificial colors and flavors and preservatives and all those things in their food.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's not dig too deep into this.
Okay.
I'd like a lot of detail in it. This would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great follow-up and a great time to have you back.
Yeah. Well, so I just want to say something. You guys are in for a treat shortly.
Oh no.
That very I just have to say. So, like John said, John and David have been friends for over 30 years. David was the best man at our wedding. So we've had, David and Mrs. David come out a couple times a year and visit us and spend, several days at our home. So it's fun, to see them go to the Trump rally together. I couldn't think of a better person for John to go with. I mean, the memories, just the friendship. I look at, when they're 80, 90 years old, sitting there talking about the times they've had, the experiences they've had, the things they've done. And I'm really grateful for that friendship. And I'm grateful for Elle being, coming in to be part of it too. There's going to be a lot of great memories that our families can share. But that very first episode, I'm going to give you a little preface here. It was during the lockdown. John and our daughter were both had been, sent home from work, and they were locked up in the house. But me being a healthcare worker, I still had to go to work. So, John's looking for an outlet, and he says, "Hey, David, let's start this thing that we've been talking about for all these years." And at the time, we lived in a 2-story house, and I am downstairs, and I hear John laughing, like rolling, doubled over, belly laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? I come straight, what's going on? And he's red in the face, tears rolling down his face. He can barely move air. He's laughing so hard, can't get words out. And David, I know that you are embarrassed by this, but it wasn't you. The funniest part is John's reaction to what happened. And David being absolutely clueless. So,
Like,
yeah,
what is
you
this?
were.
What
You
is so
absolutely
funny?
were. It was great. So anyway.
Well, with that
Thank
note,
you for the kind
very
words.
much. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for being here. We really appreciate you, Mrs. John.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will have my beverage when we're done.
Okay, I'll see you shortly.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Well, with that intro,
Oh,
I think I need to show the video now.
Okay, I'll take me back to middle school, please. Let's do it.
By the way, welcome to Will and Kim. I've got a special treat for them. I might be a little melancholy. We're going to talk about Will and Kim in just a few minutes. But first, this was our very first. This is our very first episode. Our attempt at our very first episode.
No, this was a practice-ode.
No, this was
Not an episode.
so what we were trying to do, and we didn't know what we didn't know. What we were trying to do was our plan was to record the videos, edit the videos, and then post them. So we weren't going to be a live show at the time. We were going to be a recorded to post later. This was one of our very first ever. Our backgrounds, our everything about it was just silly.
Stellar.
And there was a little technical difficulty as we got started, but I'll let the video speak for itself. Here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the very first, this is going to be called A1.
Staring contest.
And 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just Our Take. I'm John Rudo from the People's Republic of California.
And I'm David Nemerov, coming from the Pacific Northwest, home of the state and Bigfoot. I don't know what I did either.
John,
but
you're
I would,
blowing
if I
red
could
at
tell
that
that joke
video.
again at the next party.
I can't wait till you see this recording.
Did I go 2 heads? I mean, what happened?
You go, I'm David Nimroff from
your.
When you lean forward,
Yeah, that was pretty good there, John.
Hey,
oh my god! Did it on purpose.
No other sounds happened here.
Oh Lord.
What are we in 3rd grade? Wait, no, that's.
I'm telling you, David. It sounded just like you. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna end that one.
That's a good idea.
In meeting.
Your internet, by the way.
I didn't want to end the meeting. I wanted to end the recording. Dang it.
Okay, so he wants to talk about the internet. I just want to go back to the beginning for 1 second because it's not just the noise, which again, if you watch, he kind of leans forward as the noise happens. It was an internet glitch. It wasn't him doing it, but here you go.
2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just Our Take. I'm John Rudo from the People's Republic of California.
And I'm David Nemerov, coming from the Pacific Northwest, home of the state and Bigfoot.
Just
He says, and then Bigfoot. It's like to me that I thought he was trying to blame the noise on Bigfoot.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that
What
was.
did I say? What are we in 3rd grade? That's how I feel. Like this is so.
It is childish. It's hilarious, but it was just such a perfect timed accident.
Okay, but tell me what Swalwell. Remember when Swalwell like that was
Swalwell actually did it? Yeah, in the Capitol Rotunda where there's obviously
echo
massive echoes.
Okay, that was a technological. You were just laughing so hard, and I'm thinking, what
I was
is
crying.
going on?
I was literally laughing so hard I was crying. I think that that's perfect timing to segue into a call to our very own and beloved producer Marie.
Hey.
Producer Marie.
Yes.
So what'd you think of the little
Oh,
clip?
I'm dying laughing. Dying. Dying.
Unreal. That's
Yeah, that was funny.
Truth be
We're
told,
just as
producer Marie
professional
got
today.
it. Truth be told, producer Marie actually had a preview of that a few months ago, and I said, "Do you think I should play this?" And she, of course, egged me on. Yeah, you've got to do it. That's pretty classic.
That was funny. Yeah.
Well-
and then I can't believe David just kept, leaning forward. Like, okay.
Hey,
It's good stuff.
I
Well,
mean,
listen,
I think it was all out, but it was nothing to get.
Dave, sorry, Rude's girl commented on what you said. I wish I knew what I'd said. I'd tell that joke at the next party.
Exactly. Exactly. God, if I knew what I
Let me
said.
pull this banner down. So listen, producer Marie, we just want to spend just a couple seconds and say thank you for helping us out. You do an awful lot on the show. Behind the scenes stuff, you're always sending us clips and giving us some ideas. You've also done some research for projects that we are working on and haven't worked on. You also did a great segment on the fake Kamala Harris and really who is Kamala Harris. I don't think that story's done yet. So I hope that you haven't put away all your research. I think that there's going to be something that comes back around to that.
I think as I keep seeing that she's the quote unquote, front runner for the Democratic Party, we could only hope we get that lucky. Yeah, that there'll be more coming out because I don't think it'll go away. I don't think it'll disappear. She comes out and tries to run on her Black American heritage because she is not.
Yeah. Well, I watched a video, maybe was it Elle that sent me this? I don't know. I saw a video the other night about Trump and what he has to say about getting revenge. And, he says you don't just get one-on-one revenge, you get 10 times revenge.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. He means it. And I, in his book, The Art of the Deal, he talks about, if someone does you wrong, you wait for the opportunity. And when you can, you knock them down, step on their neck, and never, ever, ever let them up. That's more than revenge.
Well, I'm kind of with him there. I operate that way, John.
Well, I say that because I don't think that this is going away, and I think it'll come back to haunt all of those people that have done him wrong.
Well, and they haven't just done him wrong, because people sometimes can make a mistake, but they're with just evil intent, and it's over and over again, and they conspire with each other. And if you don't teach them a lesson, they will continue to come after you, which is exactly what we saw that in the last 4 years.
Right. I mean, think about it. The raid on his house where they had weapons-free authorization, and they went through, how do I say this nicely? They went
the unmentionable drawer.
His unmentionables drawer. And what? They're looking for secret materials in there? Come on.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to oh my gosh. I see her fake picture. Yeah, working at McDonald's. She put in fake people as her grandparents. Yeah. It just absolutely insane. I'm working on a couple others I'll be sharing with you. I think I shared with you a little bit not too long ago. Bridget Macron is a man.
No.
I'm telling you, she's
no way.
And I'm not kidding, and I can back that up. Another thing I'm looking into at the moment is Harvey Weinstein is a nasty human being. He did some really horrible things. However, Candace Owens is looking into. She's really taken that apart, and I'm astounded how he was completely railroaded by the Me Too movement. And wrongfully charged and put in prison.
Wow.
Yep. Yes, and I never in a million years thought I'd say that because he's a puke, and she admits that, and so does he. He did some, he just was not a very moral, upstanding human being. But what happened to him was very much like the mostly peaceful protests with the Me Too movement. He was absolutely 100% railroaded.
And so I've got
Beyond a
on
doubt.
stage a picture of, I don't know, who's that? Is that Rachel Chandler? Is that her name? With Harvey Weinstein and Oprah Winfrey. And it says, that moment you realize Oprah didn't bring you for a new car.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So yeah, it is, and super big, goes into the MK Ultra and Hollywood and all the connections and the power. It's amazing.
Wow,
It's
that sounds
amazing
like
how-
a very, very interesting segment. And I think we're going to have to do that one. That one can be a great Wednesday show for us.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still working on your 750,000 page MK Ultra thing. I'm still working on it for you.
So she's working on she's working on an MK Ultra thing for me. And she actually found some amazing information in there that we'll be dropping out before too long. And then I also reached out to somebody who did a really thorough investigation on the Las Vegas shooting. And I asked her 2 questions, if we could use some of her clips, and would she come in on our show and do an interview. I have been digging into that, but I also have some more for producer Marie to do there. So it's always great to have you on the show, producer Marie. We also want to talk more about education when you are ready for doing that. Maybe that in a week or so, we can pop you in for a few minutes to talk about what you were showing me earlier.
You bet. I'm getting prepped.
Thank
I
you,
also
Connie.
want to just say thank you guys for your show. Had I not had this outlet to vent the last couple of years and puke everything out, I don't know where I'd be. I needed it. Oh, did I?
That's
I
fantastic.
appreciate
We
it.
needed you too. We need you too. So thank you.
Thank you so
You bet.
much, producer Marie on the line. Thank you again. And we will be talking to you real soon.
Okay. Thank you guys.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Have a good night. Okay, John, I cannot wait to hear about Bridget Macron. I just went to Grok because Grok's been really good. And it says, no, Bridget is not a man. She was born
Of course Grok said that.
has
ask
3
Grok to do it?
children.
Did you ask Grok to do it on whatever insane mode or whatever they call it? Unhinged mode?
No, I'll do that one too, though. But that's always it's unhinged mode. Yes, you got to try it.
I have boys will be boys. I have another person that I want to bring on the line. I don't know if I should do it before or after this segment. I think I'm just gonna run with this. In our intro, and it's been, sorry, let me clear this. I apologize, Scott. You're fired. In our intro, and this has been in there since the second intro that we had, I put this picture in there. That is Patty. Patty was our first real fan. She went by P 2024. And in that picture from the Trump rally, you see David standing there with P 2024 on his back. P 2024, or Patty, was our primary sponsor, Steel Rebel Designs, mother-in-law. So Will and Kim are both watching the show right now. It was Will's mom. She passed away, and she didn't get to go to the Trump rally. So Kim made us the shirts with the Trump fight with his arm up like that. And on the back, we put P 2024. And so she was able to go to the rally with us. The next day, was it the next day, David?
It was the next day, I believe.
The next day, we actually went to Patty's memorial, and we were honored to be guests there. David actually had grabbed a sign, a Trump Vance sign, and delivered it to the event, which I thought, what a great tribute that was too, because again, Patty was a gigantic Trump fan. And so Patty, P 2024 will always be a part of the Just Our Take show. And and obviously we'll maintain a special love and friendship to their entire family. So Will, Richard, Kim, Burl, everybody else, I'm sure I'm missing names, but we're really blessed that you brought, because it's actually through Kim. Her shop was right next to where I worked, and she told her mother-in-law about the show. Her mother-in-law was a gigantic Trump fan, and so then she goes, I got to meet him. So she came down to the show, and yeah, we were blessed to know her.
Yeah.
So
Agree. Yeah, it was an honor to bring her with us to the rally, right? Because she would have I didn't know her personally, but I knew of her because of our show, and of course because of Kim. And I think she would have just had a blast.
And by the way, she was a rabid commenter too, man. She was posting all the time. Yeah, she didn't hold back too. We love that.
No.
Absolutely. No. By the way, that's what the chat's for. And we love it when you guys are chatting, and it helps us with the show. So I do want to bring two pieces of news in. First of all, I want to talk about Signalgate.
Let's talk about Signalgate.
It's kind of hard to segue from that, so I apologize for that hard segue. So Signalgate is this whole program where they say that an Atlantic reporter somehow got on the line of a Signal chat. Signal is a program. Dave and I use it, and Dave L and I, we use it. It is a app that you can get online. It's free to use. It is double encrypted end to end, and the messages do not stop at a server. Why is that important? It's important because it can never be pulled off. So as long as you delete everything that's on your Signal app, that message is gone, never existed, can't be pulled. So that's kind of interesting. And apparently they've been using it in Washington for a little while now. I question whether that violates the Records Act, but they're using it. They've been using it ever since its inception. So they were using that, and apparently this Atlantic reporter got a hold of some messages that were going back and forth between a group text. And El, do you have the list of who was supposed to be on that group?
I don't have it with me.
Okay. I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that.
Yeah,
I know
it was the Secretary of Defense, Director of the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, Vice President Vance, and I think a few others.
Rubio was supposedly on there.
Yeah, Marco Rubio, correct.
Marco Rubio. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm gonna have to. Sorry, I've got to get this thing ready. The bottom line is, I don't believe the narrative. I don't believe the narrative at all. And part of that is because, let me see if I have this picture. Part of that is because they actually posted a picture of the text that was supposed to go on, and in this picture, they were talking about how the operation was supposed to go. So they were saying, basically, they were just saying they being this text group, we're talking about operational, secure, and military planning. And this person who should not have been on the list ended up on the list. And they were talking about, they say, top secret information. David, do you have it? Looks like you do.
Well, I was looking for I actually had it earlier, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get into it, so I didn't keep it. But I do have, I can share screen by screen here. It's broken up into a few. So let me bring this on. And this is this is the first one, but I don't know if I can make that.
UTPC small group, right?
Yeah, make it bigger.
That's what they call it, UTPC small group. That's what they claim that they made it, this group.
Yeah. They made it, and they're gonna, you can see the people that are on here, right? So, hey, we're going to establish this team, and can you please, who's the point of contact for your team, right? So Mike Needham for state, JD Vance's Andy Baker for the VP, Joe Kent for DNI, Dan Katz, Dan Caldwell, and it keeps going. And you can see the, what they're talking about, right? Team, you should have a statement of conclusion with taskings per the president's guidance this morning, your high side inboxes. So they're going through the whole thing. And look, even JD Vance here says, look, I'm not a fan of taking this action, but I'll go with the group if the group believes we should go with, with the action. And it continues to go on, and they're talking through, should we or should we not, we're going to bail out Europe again. And eventually, they decide to move forward. But I think the piece, John, and maybe you're getting to this and I'm jumping the gun a little bit, is there's this conversation taking place between all of these most senior level of executives in the cabinet. And they're talking about, should we or should we not take action? What they're not saying is, here's what we're going to do at this time. And here's the location. There's a precise location. And here's none of the actual planning pieces of it are discussed through this. But the fact that the conversation is happening, and to this reporter who should never have been invited, it felt very casual, and it felt like it was being very loose, and it was inappropriate. And it was inappropriate for the reporter to be on the chat. There's no question in my mind about that. But it was not war games. What do they call that? War planning, and it wasn't even battle planning. But there was.
But I've got more information than that. I've got even some more stuff. Before we go there, let me just do this because I did find it. I apologize. I did find the piece that I was looking for. One of the pieces that this person from the Atlantic posted, again, if he thought it was top secret, if you accidentally got a hold of it and you are posting it and it's top secret, you are guilty of spreading top secret information. Even if you got it legitimately, which he didn't, and there is no reason he should have had any classified material whatsoever in his possession. But he can't use the excuse that, oh, well, I was part of this group, they sent it to me, but he published it. So here's part of, oh, that's the wrong one, doggone it. That's not.
While you're doing that, John, I believe didn't the Biden administration, the potato administration, sue the people that had the Ashley Biden diary? They said it was same kind of deal, right? That they had this personal, private information and they had no right to publish it. So they go after somebody's diary, but they're saying that this guy had every right to publish. Okay, what the double standard? Disgusting.
So they were talking about, that's exactly it. But in this text message, they were talking about, Hegseth makes a comment like, there are 4 F-18s taking off in 20 minutes, and they will definitely drop their bombs at 12 noon. I can tell you from my experience, I personally put together strike packages, and I communicated those strike packages to higher ups and people that were my contemporaries. That is not the nomenclature. That's not the wording that we would use in any way, shape, or form. If you had 8 F-18s taken off, you would say strike package 17 Alpha taking off at 12. Or actually, you would do it in Greenwich Mean Time. So it'd be like 0300 GMT. And you wouldn't say we'll definitely be dropping bombs at noon. You would say TOT, again, Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah. And you would never say definitely, because there are so many outside factors that could change that. So, and TOT is time on top or time on target. Mm-hmm. So it's, when I look at that, I think it's a setup. I think that I personally believe that this whole thing was to try to flush out a leaker. They're trying to find out who the leaker is. Now, are you ready for this? You guys aren't ready for this. This is so beautiful.
I am. I'm always ready for you, John. You always get the hot stuff.
I'm ready. Edge of my chair, ready.
Okay, so
It was Matt Gates. I mean,
courtesy of Laura
Oh yeah,
Loomer.
Laura Loomer. I saw that.
You ready for this? Alex Wong, the Chinese deputy national security advisor, appointed by President Trump, who is at the center of the Signalgate scandal, is married to U.S. Attorney Candice Wong, a Chinese woman who was one of the key attorneys involved in prosecuting J6ers.
You cannot make this stuff up. Is that true?
Yeah,
that's great. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So in other words, not a mistake to add this guy, and now you've found the rat.
So that's what I think this whole thing is about.
Wow.
Now, the best part is if you go all over, so when you see something that is so obviously wrong, dig past it. Don't just listen to the headlines. Please, we've taught you that. Don't listen to the headlines. So the headline is, these people are terrible. And they're incompetent and they're stupid. Now they're trying to say Hegseth was drunk.
Yeah,
Hegseth
I remember that.
They're saying Hegseth was drunk when he did that. The fact is, Pete Hegseth has made several comments, not the least of which during his interview with Sean Ryan. He said, I'm a born-again Christian. I've turned my life over to Jesus Christ. I'm a new man. I don't drink anymore. And he also said that during his Senate confirmation hearings. I don't drink anymore.
Right.
And they're not going to buy that. They're going to keep on trying to tear this man down. So he's a drunk. And I heard, and again, I don't believe that for a second. And then I heard Bill Kristol, who says he's a conservative, but
not in a million years.
He's about as conservative as Nancy Pelosi is sober.
Right.
Who isn't sober, and she's not saying she is either. So go on, John.
Exactly. Well, Bill Kristol said that Pete Hegseth will resign. He has it on good authority that Pete Hegseth will resign by Friday. This whole thing, it just stinks of a setup, meaning that I think the Trump team set up this whole thing to try to find out who the leaker was. Because again, war planners don't talk that way at all.
Not at all. Nope. And that's Pete is at the level where he receives the information from the actual planners, and within that language, John, to your point, in the Corps, out in 29 Palms, I know it's only training, but that's what we do. We do combined arms exercises. So for our audience that don't know what that is, I was in an artillery battery, big old 155 millimeter guns, cannons, and we are part of a combined global force that includes air, ground, and sea. And we're fighting our whole military works in this awesome coordinated way. And to John's point, the communications that happen about the preparation of all of these missions, nobody sees those, right? The commanders see it, they understand it, they speak a certain level, and they give a brief to the leadership of what's going to happen, where, the upper echelon really doesn't cover it at that level. I'm sure Pete is accustomed to seeing those because he was an officer who actually handled those types of documents. So I agree with you 100%. I think this was a ruse to capture somebody. And because when I first heard the story about it, I thought, and the text came out, I thought somebody's been watching Mission Impossible movies or some of these Hollywood movies where they try to pretend they're military. And it's like, no, you'd never see that in a Hollywood movie. But okay, if it makes Hollywood sense, sure.
Well, and again, just the verbiage that they use to describe it, I wish I could have brought that up, but I didn't. I'll put it on the Facebook page if you guys have that opportunity.
I can find it for you, John, if you want. But
it's just the one thing that the guy from the Atlantic posted, and it talks about the different F-18s are launching at 5 minutes or whatever. In the meantime, I want to play this for you, and I hope the sound comes through. Of course, the best part about this happened the night before a national security and intelligence briefing or hearing happened on Capitol Hill. Just perfect timing. This thing happens right before that so that they could get it all out into the news cycle. So this is Kash Patel having a sparring match with a Democrat.
Another day has passed.
Actually, it was the night before the hearing.
Now that another day has passed, do you believe that it's now time potentially for the FBI to open an investigation into this?
I'm not going to comment on that
Because you're the director of the FBI, you don't believe it's appropriate to comment on that?
because there's a process in place. There's an ongoing litigation, and the National Security Council is reviewing this matter. And I'm not going to discuss any open or closed
That
investigation.
ongoing investigation, literally, the lawsuit happened today or yesterday afternoon. And the idea that you don't have an opinion on this at this point is frustrating to me.
No, it's not.
My
I'm not
final
going to
question,
prejudge any
reclaiming my
matters,
time, my
and the men
final
and women of the
question,
FBI
reclaiming my
will
time, reclaiming
call
my
the
time,
balls and strikes.
reclaiming my time,
Not
sir.
you.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have.
Gentleman's recognized. You have
Thank
4
you.
seconds remaining.
No, I have more than
You have
that
2
because
seconds
Mr.
remaining.
Patel would not acknowledge.
Gentlewoman's time has expired. Mr.
Get outta
Speaking.
here.
Thank you,
Sorry,
you,
Chris.
you don't want to hear
guys
what he
are
has to
getting-
say. Talk over him.
You're getting a taste of what you have done to us for the last several years. Okay. Time now. Let me see. Time now. Weather is favorable. They wouldn't say that. Sorry. Just confirmed with CENTCOM. We are go for mission launch.
This reminds me of hold on a sec. This reminds me of Independence Day.
Yeah.
When they
Cue the
quoted
music.
all the Star Wars lines, right?
Yeah.
12:15 Eastern time. Again, I told you they will only talk about this in Greenwich Mean Time. Always, always, always. It's GMT. F-18's launch, first strike package. No, sorry. That would be strike package Alpha 1 Bravo. Okay. Sorry. It would have a nomenclature to it, and they wouldn't say what it was.
And you don't have Eastern time when you're typing stuff.
Right. It's GMT.
What is okay? So I'm curious. What is trigger based supposed to mean? Because I thought for sure. Oh,
So
that's one of those
trigger-based,
secret
so
words I don't know.
I think what they're trying to say is if this happens, then that happens.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. So if they light up our F-18s with anti-air missiles, then we're going to bomb the anti-air missile systems. But again, that's not trigger-based. F-18 first strike window starts target terrorist is no. You wouldn't talk this way if everyone knew that this thing was happening. You wouldn't have to say what the target was, but they're talking about what the target is. It would just listen. Strike package 1 Bravo launching at 1712 GMT. That's it. And then he's talking about the package. Also, strike drone launch.
Should be on time.
Then he talks about what it is. More F-18 launch. Second strike package.
This
Wait, John, for our audience, I know we're losing you with all this. What we know. So just imagine a group of military people going to a Hollywood movie that covers the military. They get it 99% wrong. I could just tell you that right now. And all of us are sitting in our chairs going, who consulted with these directors? Because they got it all wrong. Again, Hollywood is about making a big show. Somebody would not talk like this if it was a true mission that summary that they were describing. This is pretty hysterical.
Yeah, let's just summarize by saying this is all fake. It was a setup, and I think we're starting to see the rats coming out of the woodwork.
I was going to say, I think what's beautiful about this, and that whole narrative has to come out crisp and clean and clear. And you're going to know if it landed right when CNN reports on it, like actually turned out to be a hoax. Then you're going to know your point landed, Mr. President. You found the rat, you fleshed him out.
Listen, it's been an hour and 35 minutes of episode number 100. Light on news and heavy on memories and fun. It's been a great 100 episodes. By the way, there were several things. Let's not forget about the Super Bowl, right? We had a Super Bowl during that time. The Francis Scott Key Bridge was taken down. We lost James Earl Jones during that time frame. We had a president or a presidential candidate step aside for someone who got 0 votes and who in the primary before got 0%. but he stepped aside. And then there was all the lawfare that happened during the year. There was a whole lot of frustration. We had, obviously, we went to the Bozeman rally. We had a first ever Trump rally in California. There's a lot of things that happened in the last year. And I just thank this audience for coming along the ride with us, sticking with us, and growing with us. We really appreciate you guys. We love you. And that's all I got to say. Dave, what do you got?
No, I'll say the same. Thank you. It's 100 shows. It's hard to believe. And looking back at show 1, and I haven't even thought about looking at show 2, you could just see how things have matured. And I don't think we've necessarily, arrived at some amazing professional level, but I will say, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying looking at the different news stories. I'm enjoying the chat. I love the banter in the chat. It's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate the heck out of you, John. L, thanks for coming along the ride with us. And to the audience, we love you and appreciate you as well.
L, what you got for us?
It's been a riot. I've loved every minute you've had me. I am just grateful to have an opportunity. For many years, people asked me, you have all the equipment, you should be in a podcast. And I never did it because it's a lot of work. So John, your work is incredible. It's a lot of work. People don't know behind the scenes. But to give me an opportunity to speak my opinion on things is fantastic. And to find folks that share the same value that we can communicate to our audience and let them know that, hey, it's pretty cool to share some of these. I spend a lot of my time when I'm not on the show, when I'm listening to it on the chat feed, and I just love reading everybody's comments and thoughts. So thank you, everybody, for being involved and letting us have some fun with y'all.
Thank you very much. We will be back on Sunday, and it'll be our normal show on Sunday. And that'll be the beginning of our second 100 as we continue the show. Elle, you'll be back next Wednesday, won't you?
Yes, sir. I sure will.
Awesome.
Oh, well, I will not.
Oh,
big news. So my dad, I haven't seen my dad in over a year. He lives in a different state than I do. And he's 85 and has a pacemaker. So I have to go and get him because I don't trust the TCA with their little wands and their little machines. So,
all right.
Yeah. So
Well,
Wednesday,
yeah.
I'll be flying. Sorry.
Keep us posted, and we'll be praying for a safe journey for you guys.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send us out the way we brought us in. I'm gonna show the new the brand new intro video, so the people that came in late, they can get a chance to watch it. Again, thank you guys all very much, and you guys have a fantastic evening. Thank you for the first 100. We appreciate you.
Word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Take us our web show. Say hi. What's your number one program that you want to take care of?
First thing we gotta do, we gotta get the economy back on track. Inflation under control. We can't be having $4 gasoline. We can't be having groceries unaffordable. We gotta get the economy working for all Montana together.
UFC CEO Dana White, 45, soon to be 47, President-elect Donald Trump.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance.
Today I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000 person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo.